Once again, we're staying in our modifying objects.dwg file. And you can see I've done a double click on the wheel to zoom to the visible extents of the drawing as well. We're going to take a look at the stretch and lengthen commands available in AutoCAD now. And what I'd like you to do is go to the Modify panel on the Home tab on the ribbon, click on the flyout and just pin open the Modify panel. The reason being is that lengthen is here on the flyout part of the panel, and it just saves it keep going back into the ribbon. Once you've done that, we're going to zoom in on our little hot desking area where we placed our little array and also our little partition walls. So just zoom in close by rolling up on the wheel and then panning upwards a little bit. I'm going to get in really nice and tight so that you can see what's going on. Now, I'm going to use stretch and lengthen to improve what we've got going on down here, because at the moment, there's our grid line and there's our partition walls. And we want our partition walls here to meet up with that grid line. It's just easier from a measurement perspective for the guys on site. They can then measure these internal walls out to the grid and obviously create the internal walls for our hot desking cubicles. Now, we're going to use stretch and lengthen to perform the same workflow. What we're going to do is going to make sure that these walls are touching the grid line here. So I'm going to show you stretch first. Now, what you've got to remember is some of these commands are not on the shortcut menu. Stretch and lengthen are not on the shortcut menu, so you will have to use your modify panel. Now, stretch is a weird one because stretch will only allow you to use what is called a crossing selection. Now, it's one of the ones where I just go straight up to stretch on the modify panel rather than select the objects first and come into the drawing area, because then you get the select objects prompt. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to the right-hand side of this internal wall just here and click and drag my crossing selection over the end of the wall. Left click again to confirm, and you can see that all three parts, all three lines that form that wall are selected. You then press enter or right click to confirm your selection. Now it asks for a base point. Make sure your object snaps are on. You want the midpoint snap just there, like so. Click, and then using your polar tracking, you don't want to go off at an angle. Can you see? Otherwise, your internal wall will look very odd. So we come down and we get a snap there. Can you see that snap? When that second point snaps at the intersection, the green X shape there, just click. And as you can see, you've now stretched that wall down to the grid line. Quick and easy to do. Let's go through that one more time. So it's a stretch. Using the select objects pick box, pick here, drag across with a crossing selection. Has to be from right to left, not left to right. There's our objects. Enter to confirm. Midpoint snap there, and then drag down until you get the intersection. Left click. So you can see there that our walls neatly touch the grid line. Now, you can also utilize lengthen to do this, but you will, in turn, need to move this little line here, though, because you can't lengthen this one if you're lengthening this or this. So let's have a look and see how that works. Lengthen is here. So if I click on lengthen now and come into the drawing area, it says select an object to measure or. Right, if you have a look at the command line, there's various different ways of lengthening an object. Delta, which is a part distance. Percent, a percentage of the length of the original object. Total, where you can say that you want it lengthened to a particular distance. Or dynamic. Now we want dynamic because we don't know what our distances are, so we need to utilize our object snaps to dynamically lengthen the line. Now, if you want to lengthen one of these vertical lines, you need to pick it down at this end here. Don't pick it up at the top here, because it will lengthen from the top and you want to go upwards. So you want to be here and click like so. So now what I can do there is I can select that object, and you can see the current length of that object is 2,500 on the command line there. We then right click, dynamic, then we select the object. Can you see that? So it's one of those weird commands where you don't select the object first. Let me go through that workflow one more time. Let's just hit escape a couple of times just to cancel the command. It's lengthen into the drawing area right click, dynamic. You want the lengthening method first. Then you select the line down here at the bottom end so that you're lengthening from the bottom end. And as you can see now, I'm lengthening that line. Can you see that? So I come down to here, get the intersection on the polar tracking, click there, and our line has lengthened. Now, the good thing is it remembers that setting. So I can come here, pick on the bottom of that line, intersection there, like so. And I can do the same here, click there, down to there, click there, down to there. Now, the reason I'm getting the polar tracking and the object snap tracking is down here, I've got object snaps, I've got my object snap tracking and my polar tracking on. Make sure they're all on before you use the lengthen command. Then it's an enter to finish, job done. All we've got to do now is move our little short lines. So there's our short line there, select, right click, move, pick an endpoint, like that, and it moves. Same again, I can right click, make sure you select the object first though, then right click, move, and it's endpoint. And there we go. We've now moved the ends of our little cubicle walls there down to the grid line to allow the guys on site to measure straight off grid when they're adding those internal walls for the construction of the building, of the floor from our floor plan.